from 10, 15 years ago won't buy much of anything here today.
And why the millennial generation is starting to give up because they can't afford to get a good job or own a house.
8 million Venezuelans voting for this assembly, saying it's actually less than 3.
It is. And people are going to start rioting in the streets.
Was reported to have asked Putin for military support that would help him stay in power.
We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
And they ignore him. And 8 more years goes by till Bernie himself finally admits to his sons, hey, I've been running a Ponzi scheme.
Does its dominance mean it can use the alliance for its own ends?
Since 1981, bond yields, also known as coupon rates, have just gone down and down and down.
The Federal Reserve note will be your biggest financial liability.
RTD Live Talk, take 2. We're live again. And so it wasn't my fault, people. I promise you that. It was not my fault. But yeah, anyway, we're live again. Let's try to do this one more time. And so in the midst of my sentence, I saw some stuff in the chat saying that it's buffering. And then literally, I saw a comment saying, this is internet. My internet speed is supposed to be good. I mean, I have no problems with that. But my computer started flickering, my monitor started flickering, and everything like reset or something, which never happened to me. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm back here. So let's try to do this one more time as long as we can get on here. So, but anyway, as everybody hopefully chimes back in, I had a lot of stuff I was talking about. But yeah, let's pick up where we left off at. So welcome back to RTD Live Talk. My name is Mike, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. How's everybody doing for the second time? So anyway, the goal was to basically get a chance to find out what's on your mind. And so we were starting to talk about a little crypto action there. So everybody who's watching this now, who's tuning in for the first time, you already know what I was mentioning. But yet I was saying that you can't deny what's going on. And more importantly, I would suggest that you be open to, exploring and basically speculating or being willing to speculate in a variety of things, given that, beyond precious metals, we don't know what else might pop, what else might stick in the days ahead. And then I was going to cover the stock market. I want to share an article with you in which a hedge fund manager who handles $2.4 billion worth of funds in a different country, of course, came out publicly, saying that it's time for people to get out of stocks now while you still can. So that was going to be one of the 3 S's that I was going to label this tonight. It's going to be Saudi Arabia, the stocks, and I had a third, but I forgot it prior to going live. So with that being the case, let's find out what's going on, man. If you can, give me a call, 1-833-LIVE-RTD. We'd love to hear your voice. If not, we will keep this party moving because there's a lot of things happening, man. And it seems like it's just, it's very interesting that a lot of global things are happening. And I'm curious to find out your thoughts on this whole Saudi Arabian journalist / come to find out he's also a U.S. citizen. And it appears that I saw an article just before I was going live about it. It appears to be that Saudi Arabia might be coming forth saying that he was that he did die or was killed or whatever under their watch. And so I'm actually going to pull some articles up because I don't want to speak on them and not give you the full shebang. It says, what else we got here? So everybody, if we got anybody new, feel free to let me know where you're watching from. It's always good to have new people joining us. And so the goal is to give you, the people, a voice. So call in, let your voice be heard. If not, remain silent. You can't argue if you don't speak out against something. So make sure my phone is on. So 1-833-LIVE-RTD, give me a call. And so let's see what's going on in the chat. It says, Mike, by your description, update or downgrade your graphics card drivers. Spirit King, I will look into that. And so offhand, I don't know how to do that right now. So I have to educate myself in that department there. But I will definitely do it. And mind you, I'm running a software on top of things with a camera. And so there's a lot of things running behind the scenes that could be the reason. And so it said, oh, these guys are agents. Yeah, and so that analyst or that journalist as well as the preacher. And so, as I mentioned in the prior stream before I was interrupted, this past weekend, I just felt led to just basically, really promote some spiritual awareness on a variety of subjects, and primarily being prayer And so for all my spiritual people out there, definitely might want to take a look at that video from this past Saturday. I thought it was a breath of fresh air on my part to be able to just share some things that was on my heart, and I felt I got it off and did what I said I was going to do. So yeah, it felt good to be able to share that with you guys, and it seemed like to be a lot of support in the spiritual realm. So thank you for listening to me rant back and forth. And yeah, even got a little choked up there for a minute talking about a certain subject that's that I find very touching to my heart. And so, but it says, I believe you wanted to talk about China selling off American debt with the next trade war chess move. Yeah, so Future Money Show. Let's talk about that then. Okay, so as of now, and I've been reading and hearing more and more about this whole trade war. And so not only has the United States of America been running a deficit, a trade deficit with China over the last, since the 90s, so close to almost 20 years. Hence the idea that we have such a deficit in our budget as well as with trade itself. And so now Trump wants to get even and wants to settle the score, wants to get what he feels was right compensation for all the patent laws they've been stealing and the counterfeits and all that stuff like that. So I agree with that. I mean, I think that's fair. And the fact he's shaking stuff up, it's going to be very uncomfortable as it is presenting itself to be now. But it is what it is. But here's the thing. In trade wars, according to, just a brief little bit of information I understand in regards to history, when things of this nature happen, there's no happy campers in the end. And so by Trump playing hardball, I'm starting to feel that he's really playing hardball with Saudi Arabia and the possible threat of sanctions if it comes out that Saudi Arabia has something to do with the kidnapping or whatever of the journalist, but also with China. And I want to say it has something to do with us now being the #1, according to what we're told, #1 producer of oil. And so if we are able to produce our own oil, then we are not really in need of oil from the Middle East, as well as probably people really, I'm not sure how this will play out, but because if people don't accept our debt, then we are going to be left out with being able to finance a lot of things that we do, apart from the government or the Federal Reserve or whatever deciding to acquire that. But yet that's not going to be very viable and it won't last for long. So this playing hardball with this trade war stuff is very questionable, because what's the expected outcome is what I'm trying to say. Is he think China's going to roll over when it's apparent that they are already positioning and strategizing around using the Federal Reserve note in international trade altogether? And so if they decide they don't want to use our Federal Reserve notes as their primary tender for oil or for just international goods in general, then what are we going to depend upon when our entire economy is based upon running deficits and getting goods for debt? So I'm not quite sure how it's going to play out in the long run. And I don't think, China or the U.S. will win. Ultimately, if China does not give in or cave in or whatever it is that they're being asked to do, then we're going to fill it in our pockets here, because they're going to basically charge more for goods. And that will not be comfortable, because that will be very problematic for a lot of people in this country, given the fact that a lot of things appear to be tight on the home front for a lot of people. It says we consume 40% of our oil. We consume 40% of our oil. But yet, Tony, I don't doubt that. But yet it looks like our government appears to be playing the hardball, assuming that we can sustain our own oil needs outside of anything from the Middle East. And to my knowledge, I believe that the OPEC nations still control, for the most part, the price of a barrel of oil, give or take internationally. And so let me actually share with you something that really caught my eye, that I wanted to share last night, but I was like, I need a day off from the news stuff. But here's something that I thought was very, very important to consider. And so I can pull it up here. But it got me to thinking about possible ramifications for our actions, give it take how we play this hardball. And so let me see if I can find it here. Okay, let me And so it was actually a tweet from Kim.com, and I'll pull it up right here. So I'll share my screen with you so you can see what I see. And so this is a tweet, original tweet that originated from WikiLeaks, but Kim.com shared it, and this was as of yesterday. But it's basically about President Trump threatening Saudi Arabia if it's proven that they had anything to do with the disappearing journalist, which, you know, from the video, it looks like he walked into the embassy, the Saudi Arabian embassy in Turkey, and I would imagine if everything was okay, he would have walked out those same doors, but apparently he didn't come out those doors. And so, yeah, so that's gonna be an issue. So it says Saudi report threatens Trump over, and then the journalist named Jamal. I'm not gonna try to butcher his last name, but yet here are some things that I thought was very important and worth mentioning if we try to pass sanctions on Saudi Arabia as to what could possibly happen. And it says they would allow basically Russia to install a base in Saudi Arabia. So we know over the past couple of months / year that, or actually this year, the king of Saudi Arabia went to Russia. I think it was the first time ever that anybody from Saudi Arabian monarchy went to Russia, and they had a meeting. So why would the Saudi all of a sudden for the first time go to Russia unless they were planning on doing some things? Then I believe Saudi Arabia might be looking to buy some things from Russia in the form of that S-400 or whatever else they want to buy from them. So Saudi Arabia recognizes that this day of the petrodollar usage and the United States of America continue to defend them the way that the whole petrodollar system was set up, it's coming to an end. So here's a possible ramification that Saudi Arabia could possibly position, and that will be to allow Putin to come into Saudi Arabia with that missile defense system, which could shake up plans of any type of false flags or anything of that nature. And then the second one was Saudi Arabia can basically say, hey, you know, we're going to take oil to $200 a barrel, and we know what happens when oil prices skyrocket. The pumps become outrageous, and then everything else related to gas goes up. Everything, especially logistically, when things go, you know, travel, whatever, it's all factored into the price that we're going to pay out of our pockets. That's a very dangerous one. And then the third one, they could kill the petrodollar. So if they decide to say, hey, and also Jim Willie, a prior guest here on RTD, mentioned that it's just a matter of time before they come out with some type of announcement saying that they will open up the oil markets to multiple currencies, and which is basically saying the petrodollar is toast. And if there's no petrodollar, then there's no need for dollars in reserves as much as there is now. That's going to be problematic. And who's going to feel the brunt of all that? United States citizens primarily. And then the fourth one was stop buying U.S. weapons. So as you know, that whenever they take our treasuries, our debt, they turn around and then invest it back into either our stock market, or they acquire weapons from us or whatnot. And it's good to say that the military technology that Russia and China has is probably a little further advanced than what we have here. So those four things, when I saw that, I'm like, man, that spells trouble for us here in the United States of America. And especially, we're still in need of people using the Federal Reserve note. And this is going to be very problematic. But something changed within like a 12-hour period from Saudi Arabia mentioning that they will retaliate to them saying that we're willing to talk, we're willing to negotiate. And I guess President Trump was supposed to call, you know, Saudi Arabia, the palace, and have a discussion. And so let me see if it actually went down yet. I'll type calls Saudi and see if he actually called the king and what the outcome was. It says Trump can call Saudi Arabia's bluff over. Saudi Arabia softens. So Saudi Arabia softens tone after Trump's call with Saudi leader. He suggests rogue killers murdered journalists. So just within the last couple of hours, it looks like President Trump got on the phone with the monarchy over in Saudi, and I guess the journalist was murdered, but I guess some rogue killers, not the Saudi Arabian hitmen that were reportedly walked into the embassy. So yeah, so this is what's happening in the news, and this is probably the most alarming news, which happens to happen in this very fragile moment in our economy, as well as just in our whole political structure in general. Not only do we have so many things happening in this country that's problematic, but then we got stuff like this happening. And this stuff right here, you know, it just spells war. None of this right here will come off being something that will be people friendly or friendly to our economy. And so I'm ranting as always. Let me find out what's going on in the chat. More importantly, no one's called in, so I guess no one wants their voice to be heard. So we'll keep moving. It says the yuan is 7-1 exactly, and then I read that China said that 7-1 is fair market value. So China's not mad because that kind of eases a little something on their side. It says peace be with you all. What do we got? United States is going to lose their reserve status, and there's no way we can fight every country. Very true. And so here's the thing. Here's something worth thinking about. If that statement is true or partially true, then we know that if we lose that status, if we lose the status of reserve currency, that means that we will no longer have the privilege and opportunity to export debt and import goods and services the way we have for the last 20 plus years especially. But yet our economy is based upon consumption. So if we can't consume, we don't produce enough to really sustain ourselves. So that's going to be more of an issue that we will deal with in the days ahead. And so I'm assuming Trump has all this in mind, because a lot of people say that they're deliberately trying to destroy the Federal Reserve note. And so if that is true, or partially true, if they're trying to destroy the Federal Reserve note, everything we do, everything we've saved and invested is denominated in the Federal Reserve note. So just guess what might happen to everything that we've known to be stable, sound, secure, or you name it. So yeah. So if that statement is partially true, you don't want to be the last one holding a Federal Reserve note, put it like that. And so as we always say on this channel, for those that may be new and joining us, we have a little saying going around this channel, and it starts with a hashtag. Can anyone fill in the blank to that saying that we came up with in the chat? If we have any newbies, they don't know what we're talking about. So someone please fill us in if you remember what the hashtag is. It says Trump is an integral part of the deep state. Will Edwards, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I would never put it past anyone that in order to rise. He said Hotto. Yeah, Spirit King. We are familiar with Hotto, but that wasn't the word. It's get your weight up. Chuck, good job, my friend. Hotto gang. Good one. It says Saudi Arabia has outlived their usefulness to the U.S. They will now be terminated. Yeah, Will, and if that is true, that's not good, man, because I don't think that Saudi Arabia's Eastern allies, because they've been buddying up, as I mentioned before, with Russia and China. I don't think Russia and China will sit around and allow an invasion or a false flag without there being some type of intervention. And so I want to share with you actually something that came to mind that played into the response that changed within a 12-hour or so period from the kingdom over in Saudi Arabia, from them saying that if sanctions were passed, they would retaliate. And then I share those 4 possible things that came from WikiLeaks. So WikiLeaks, for those know, they're well informed on a variety of things. So, and I believe that within that 12-hour time frame, the king or the sultan or whoever, because there's so many princes over there that call shots, one of those individuals probably got another phone call or got a phone call from someone in the Eastern Hemisphere saying that it's not time. And so what I mean by it's not time, don't do or even suggest that you're going to retaliate. Take the higher road. Play into it. Because by taking by playing into that, by trying to fight, fire with fire. So, we supposed to pass sanctions. Saudi Arabia going to retaliate. I wouldn't put it past. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know anything about whether this could be true, but I just got a hunch that Vladimir Putin got on the phone with the king in Saudi Arabia and said, Sultan, king, whatever, hold on a second. Let's think about this for a second, because if you retaliate, that's playing into the hands of what the deep state wants. They want a reason to come into your country and dethrone you like they have everybody else. So let's think about this for a second. I got a plan for you. How about we just let this ride out? How about you cooperate? How about you let Secretary Treasury Steve Mnuchin come into your country and talk to you about some financial matters like he's doing. And then we'll keep things at pace so that we don't disrupt what's going on currently, because we got something going on over here that you're included in. If you're patient, just be patient. This new economic, this new world order that we're starting from the eastern side of things, we can include you in on this when it comes time to that one belt, one road. We can easily make a road to Saudi Arabia and bless you guys plentifully with gold, silver, whatever you guys need. So you can join this one belt, one road initiative. We'll send some S-400s over to protect you. And so just play it cool. Do what they say over there in the Western Hemisphere. We got your back. And so I'm thinking, like, within 12 or so hours, they completely flipped from wanting to retaliate. And man, Saudi Arabia is not really, they ain't really sitting on much military, because everything they have came from us for the most part. So they're not going to really pose a threat. And so they can't really defend themselves, because we were supposed to defend them from everybody else, supposedly. So I think, it's my opinion, it's my guess, that Vladimir Putin, who's always been one step ahead of the West for some reason, with Syria, with the annexation of Crimea, I wouldn't doubt if Putin got on the horn with the king and said, play it smooth, like, we got you. You're part of this one belt, one road initiative, which is going to be after the monetary reset. We're going to set up things we're going to set up shop on this side to where the West going to need us at that point. Then we'll be able to negotiate better. So that's what I believe. You know, kind of played out a little bit, that the king got a call from somebody that told him to calm down and cooperate. So hence the fact that Saudi Arabia looks like they're going to be willing to confess and play along with the idea that they may have, you know, taken out one of their own citizens because, you know, whatever the reasons might be. So, yeah, so that kind of prevented war in the short term. But with Saudi Arabia playing along, I'm not sure how Trump, he still might play that hardball sanction stuff. And, you know, we already sanctioning half the country, half the world, it seems like. And so what does sanctions usually lead to? It leads to more de-dollarization, which means that Saudi Arabia is going to be forced then to look for alternatives. And so here's what I talked about earlier in reference. I think this was probably the last video before we got interrupted, but the whole importance of being open to exploring alternatives, because what right now seems to be getting the most media attention, what right now is seeming to get transported, you know, $500 million transported to across the world for 10 cents. It shows not coming from Western Union. And so I believe Saudi Arabia will probably come up with their own cryptocurrency backed by oil, hence like Venezuela. And of course the West won't sanction it. They won't authorize that. But yet it's not about what we want. It's about what the people who buy oil other than the U.S. might be willing to accept. So those are all things happening. But yet I believe strongly that Saudi Arabia will be forced to respond, because Trump's just playing hardball with these guys, and we can't be bullying everybody for long and not come back to bite us in the butt. So yeah, it says 5 years ago, how often did you hear about state assassinations? Now it's Russia and the Saudi. In a couple years, it was by World War III. Yeah, and that's the thing. When it came to assassinations, apart from it being somebody that was like, you know, a political figure or somebody really, really influential, I'd never really even heard about it. So it wasn't until I started diving into this information here that I became aware of all this other side of the story we weren't told or not being told. It says, I don't think Trump wants to go to war with them. They are sending us over billions, and he does not want to interrupt that. Also, he wants to make no impact to jobs. Yeah, but here's the thing for your future money show. If he's wanting to really shake things up the way that it appears that he's going to do, he can't be, you know, he runs his, I mean, he speaks off the cuff. So I saw a quote saying they're going to have to retaliate and they're going to respond because he's partially a U.S. citizen as well. So they would put sanctions. We're sanctioning ourselves to death. All these sanctions hurt you and I, because that speeds up the de-dollarization process. I mean, more people are forced to go out and do business outside dollars, and that could be a deliberate act to kill the Federal Reserve note. Hence, Trump and Powell now looking like they got a little beef going on. Patrick James, I appreciate that blessing, my friend. It says, thank you, Mike, for this channel. I have learned more from this channel than other channels. Patrick, I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. It says, oil is limited. Creating a crypto based on oil is like building a house of straw. Spirit King, very true. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but it looks like it might be. It's all about options and alternatives, as I was mentioning. And if Saudi Arabia, if they get locked out the SWIFT system, which will be the primary pain comes from sanctions, is you just don't have any access to the SWIFT. what are you going to do? You know, you can come up with your own system, like the chips. Like so Russia and China has the chips, their interbank trading system. Russia has their interbank trading system. Russia and China link their systems up together, so they're good. They don't need the SWIFT. And so the European Union right now, between France, Germany, somebody else is looking at doing some type of, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago on a report about them coming up with some type of bank something or another that's going to cause them to do business for Iran. So everyone's positioning themselves with alternatives right now. So whether it's deliberate action or not, you know, they're gonna. It looks like they're attempting to back more things. They're looking to back mediums of exchange with some type of commodity. So we have the petrol and oil and gold, aluminum, whatever. And I don't want to talk about that, but that's the biggest scam. I came across some stuff today that just, yeah, that's we talk about that another time. But it looks like everybody's looking to back something to build confidence in, because everyone's losing confidence in paper alone and digits, except for the blockchain crypto stuff because of the way it's being packaged up right now. And what else we got? It says, Brando says, it's called securities tokenization. You can assign a coin to anything with value. Brando, very good one. Hence what Reggie Middleton, who was a prior guest on RTD Live Talk, with V Gold and V Silver, that Veritasium, he's tokenizing everything. He's in Africa trying to tokenize every mineral, everything in the ground. Yeah. So yeah. But here's the thing. That sounds like a good idea because it's an alternative to the dollar or the Federal Reserve note. So it's only so much that we can do sanction-wise. So it's going to be sanctions that we impose, a false flag, or some type of political disruption. We're going to have to send over some goons that's going to cause disruptions. And so I believe that eventually they're going to try to remove the monarchy from the throne just because it just seems fitting to be more of a distraction. And so we'll see how that all plays out. Or I read something about them getting ready to declassify a lot of things. And apparently our allies aren't too happy with the fact that their names might be caught up in the middle of that. So I think if you declassify those 9/11 documents, as well as all the other files that has the names of a lot of different countries and high up individuals, that would pave the way for the American public to be behind some type of intervention in those countries, because we would be doing it from like retaliating. I think the American public, you know, wouldn't mind right now finding out that ABCD was responsible for 9/11, because all they got to do is just run a campaign saying that ABCD is the reason why 9/11. It wasn't Osama. It wasn't what's his name, Saddam. And then more Americans will be okay with going to war again just because they'll buy into it. Yeah. Says Canada being sanctioned makes no sense. We're basically sanctioned ourselves. Ace One. Yeah, I hear so much about Canada from World Alternative Media. Josh over at World Alternative Media. It looks like there's a lot of activity, but it appears to be that your financial markets and your stock markets is very open for all types of startups, and I'm seeing the cannabis sector really starting to grow in Canada from an investment standpoint. It says the Booker Patrick, who makes his own crypto coins. He's worth millions. I'm not familiar with that, Brando. I gotta make that bigger because I can't read that one. It says, let me see, the boxer Pachu made his own crypto token. He's worth millions. I'm not familiar with that one. It says Ripple is the alternative to Swift. Very true, but Ripple, I'd be interested to see if say the Ripple Foundation or whoever sells their primary processing system or whatever to Saudi to use, because I wouldn't doubt them using it. But yet I think that would be a problem. And so any country that does business with a country that's under sanctions gets fined. And I don't think Ripple will be willing to invest that, would be willing to take that hit, given the fact that they're trying to probably get more adoption so that their token, their products and whatever can go mainstream. So I don't think Ripple will get involved with any sanctioned countries. Says Mike, they can use gold. The only reason they want oil-backed currencies to sell you futures debts, which you can never confirm. They're actually able to produce. They can simply lie about reserves. That's very true. And so even Jim Willie mentioned about the fact they're probably pumping 80% water and 20% petroleum these days. I wouldn't doubt it. And so, I mean, apart from them trying to sell shares into that Aramco, I believe it is, which is basically they've nationalized their oil and trying to put it under the window of a company and sell shares into that to raise funds. That 2030 plan in Saudi Arabia isn't looking too good right now. It says the FUD is killing crypto. The Wall Street bankers want it squashed flat before they buy in. Yeah, Brando. And another thing is, man, like I was watching, because I watched CNBC, the crypto report. And so it's about, if you haven't, I would suggest you subscribe to it if you're into cryptos, because you get a chance to see the commentator, I forgot his name, but he goes around the world to all these conferences and talks to, big wigs. And it's interesting how there's so much good news about how much is being invested in just the infrastructure right now. And so the fact that there's millions, probably hundreds of millions, maybe even a billions or two being invested in the foundational pieces of what it would take to elevate this to mass adoption status, that I would be willing to say the funds are there. They're just not there in terms of it, the market cap for the actual coins and tokens, but yet all the infrastructures are being built. Hence the Fidelity digital assets that was announced today. And then you got Gemini, then you got the Backed, then you have everything else that's out there. So everything foundationally wise is being built up. And so for those that are skeptical or questioning whether or not crypto is going to be, just the blockchain sector is going to be the next generation of financial delivery mechanisms, just look at how much is being built on the ground. And so most of the big money is coming in via the venture capitalists that's funding the processing mechanisms and the custodian stuff, as well as all the deep structured stuff. That stuff is being funded. So think about this: if you're a hedge fund, if you're a venture cap, if you one of the big money whale guys, and you're putting all this money up front, you expect a return. And how are you going to get your return? The market has to go up. There has to be a way to get mom and pops in there. With Fidelity digital assets offering now, they have offering storage, exchange, they offering everything needed. Fidelity is one of the biggest money marketing financial institutions in this country, especially, not to mention globally. They're packaging right now. They have a product with your name on it. If you are a long-time investor, they have a product with your name on it. Future Money Show. I appreciate that gift offering, my friend. Thank you for that. If you have any type of account with Fidelity, if you have a retirement account with Fidelity, mark my words, within 2 to 5 years, they will offer you a product with some form of a cryptocurrency in it. If you think I'm lying, I'm not lying. I believe that to be true, because why would Fidelity, as well as Goldman Sachs, as well as all these other financial institutions get involved if they didn't have a product in mind to sell you? And so it's going to be very easy for you, if you're an investor, if you have one of your accounts or your retirement accounts in one of these institutions, it's going to be easy for you to get involved because it's automated. All you have to do is just basically send you a letter at home saying that we have a new product. We're going to put 5% of your portfolio in this new fund. It's going to be a fund. It's going to be an indexer fund. And it's going to be, all that insured and backed by this and that, all that stuff. And so you're gonna own a share of some coins or companies that deal with coins in your portfolio, guaranteed. And that means a much higher market cap. So whether you want it or not, you're going to be offered it. So everyone wants to invest in digital assets, and this is the only beginning. Very true. It hasn't even started yet. And that's the thing about it. This is the ground floor of what will come. So it looks like we might have a caller. Let's see what's going on. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
To accept, press 1.
Oops. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Pat from Alabama. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. Pat, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing just fine this evening. Me and Captain Morgan's had a little bit of a discussion, and
you and the captain.
I got some things on my mind.
All right, go ahead, buddy. What's on your mind?
First thing I'm doing is looking at all this money and everybody's getting really scared. I'm waiting for the next thing to happen, and it's like everybody's on their toes. Do you have that same feeling?
I have that same like I mentioned. Yes, I do. Yes, and that plays into what I mentioned a couple weeks ago when I mentioned that this is like 2 weeks ago when I said these next 60 days seem like they are just very fitting for something or a chain of events to occur. And so to see all this Saudi Arabia stuff, the stock market action last week, and I'd even mentioned that Saudi Arabia stock market dropped 7% last night, like on opening day in Saudi Arabia. So that was 33 billion wiped clean. So there's so many markets around the world just having the same issues. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like what's happening behind the scenes that we don't know about? So yes, I feel you.
Yeah, I just feel like me and the other creatures are getting nervous.
Yeah.
I got another thing for you.
Yep.
We've been touting this one belt, one road. And let's look at this puppy seriously. You got one petri dish that does SARS, bird flu, and whatnot, and you're connecting it to another petri dish that does Ebola and whatnot. Is this a wise thing to do?
It's an experiment, but yet you've got to think about the originators of this idea thinks long term. So our Asian friends on the other side, they think 10, 20, 30, 40 years ahead. So they know that the first 5, 10 going to be bumpy, but it's all about having an option when the Western hemisphere and our dollar dominance comes to an end. So I think they'll be willing to go through those tests and trials and getting that up and running, as opposed to maintaining what's currently happening now with them receiving pieces of paper for their goods and services.
Well, I'm just talking about the potential of a pandemic.
As far as what? Pandemic in what regards?
Well, like I said, China is a petri dish. Bird flu came from there and whatnot. And then Africa is the same situation. Why would you want to link the two? You got flying Ebola with bird flu and Ebola. It's got too much potential to be linked.
I think, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure, but yet the wheels are already in motion, and so it's already happening.
I was down in South America, in Honduras. I hate to interrupt you.
No problem. No problem. Go ahead.
I know you've been down South America. You've been in Argentina and whatnot. And I remember going on a med rep into the mountains of Honduras. And man, them people had skin diseases and things we didn't even have names for. Last one I went on. So that's what I'm talking about when you connect the two and you give the fluidity of travel to the people. Right now, if you sit back and look at it and boil it all down to just one thing, communications has made this world. Communications is sterile. Travel is not. And that was just another one of the things I was thinking about.
All right, here's something to think about. And so
I want you to roll on that if you would and think about it.
All right, I will.
But
I want to share a thought to that. So
other than that, that's the only two thoughts I had this day.
All right, Pat, I appreciate you calling in, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, have a good one. Bye.
I sure will.
So in response, Pat, appreciate you calling in, my friend. So in response to the idea of mixing the two, as you think you said, petri dishes, or mixing two different worlds together and expecting a great outcome. And of course, up front, it's not going to be peaches and cream, because it's going to take a while for a communist nation to gel with a variety of African tribes and nations and government corruption and all that. But I'm seeing more and more how China and Russia are now both moving into the continent of Africa at an ever increasing rate, because Africa is the wealthiest place on earth. natural resources wise. So China and Russia right now are getting dibs on it. And so the U.S. now is sending convoy. I want to say, I was listening to a young lady. I follow her YouTube channel. She's in Uganda. She's somewhere. Oh, yeah. She's in Kenya. I'm not sure what country. But she's talking about how the Chinese are starting to now call some shots because they're lending all this One Belt, One Road initiative startup money. And so it's influencing their government there because their leaders now have to kiss the butt of the Chinese that's calling shots and building warehouses and infrastructure and building houses and roads and helping modernize a lot of those areas there. And so she's very alarmed. Then she said that Russia sent in some military, base in as well. So you got China and Russian bases in some countries. So the U.S. brought a base to that same region. So you got all these people fighting over that land. And it's all about resources. They're not there to help the people. They're there to get what's under the ground, unfortunately. But yet, that's how it goes. So if you're an entrepreneur, investor, or whatever, guess where it's going to be hot at? Guess where the next hot spot is going to be? It's going to be along that One Belt, One Road area or in Africa. So that's where the next new economic growth is coming from. It's that region because that's where it's untapped. And all that preparation and investment being done by Russia and China is a preparation for the day that we are no longer the predominant power and the government that calls the shots. So Pat, so at the end of the day, when it comes to all those viruses and stuff of that nature, the Chinese and Russians, they have medicine. They have ways of curing, and they're not going to send their people there with those type of ailments still in existence. They're going to eradicate a lot of that stuff that the U.S., injected those people with in the first place to make them the way they are. So that's my opinion. Brando Commando, appreciate you. It says, do you own any crypto? Why or why not? Thanks for the info, Mike. Brando, I am a believer in speculating in that sector. So yes, I have been aware of it for several years now. And I enjoy the tech. I enjoy the opportunity to speculate as well as to learn about the disruptive nature of those currencies or mediums of exchange, because I look at them as I tweeted earlier, saying that they're being positioned as a back door out of fiat currencies. And so a lot of people who recognize their potential are exiting out the back quietly. So yes, I do believe in it, or I do support it. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing? Good night, Mike. My name is Lennox. I'm calling from North, New Jersey.
Lennox from New Jersey.
First time. Yes, sir.
What's on your mind tonight, my friend? Fred, thanks for calling in.
All right. Well, long story short, I'm a first-time caller. I watch you a lot. It's a very good show. Very informative.
Thank you, sir.
I just have a few questions. I send you a message in the text.
Okay, so 1 second. Do me one favor. Can you cut your volume up on your mic, or talk directly into the mic, because you're loud, then you go dim. You're loud, you go dim. Can you cut your volume up for me?
All right. Well, yeah. Well, I'm calling you from the cell phone. So
okay.
It's up.
Okay.
You hear me better?
Yeah, I got you. Thanks.
All right, cool. Yeah, no. What I wanted to ask, I was listening to how you were saying about you was going to have a package deal, or you was going to set something up with the gold merchants or the different people that's distributing the precious metals.
Correct.
And I was just wondering if you had any info or anything new on that.
I do not. So as of now, what I look to do is, because I'm always looking for opportunities to, invest in certain things myself. So I have a variety of people from different industries coming on so I can learn myself. So SD Bullion is one of the, current affiliates that I work with. So in the link below, I have the 10-ounce bar that you can buy from them at wholesale price or at spot price. And then I'm working with another vendor on trying to bring forth some type of gold product. And so it's in the work, so I can't really talk much about it, but I'm hoping to have a gold opportunity for people as well. So precious metals is, the primary hedge against what we're experiencing. So I want to have both options for you guys. So I'm still working on it, and it'll be, hopefully I'll have some information pretty soon.
Okay, all right, understandable. My next question I want to ask you. I know you speak a lot about South America.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Have you ever heard of a country named Guyana?
Yes, at the very top next to Venezuela.
Right. Yeah, right next to Venezuela.
Yep.
Venezuela. Brazil is right underneath it.
Yep.
Long story short, that's the country that I'm from.
Oh, okay.
The reason why I bring that up in the conversation, throughout the situations that are going on between Venezuela and Brazil and all the other countries that are inside of South America.
Yeah.
Not to say that Guyana is not going through it, but in the same situation, is not as, I would say, as like transparent, like in the sense of it's a very big issue. You know, I mean, there's still economics going down there. They have a lot of different resources that I've seen are being established, and now also with the big find of oil now in the country.
Yeah.
My whole thing with this is with a situation like that coming about, with Venezuela going through the situation, how they were blessed with oil, but even I think it was Hugo Chavez that said that their oil is now their crutch. With the situation was going on in Guyana, how they have ExxonMobil down there right now searching for oil, and with all the devastation that went on in Venezuela, I see something like that happening. Because that was something in myself where I was always saying, I wish that Guyana never really found oil. I know a lot of people that's on here that may be from Guyana or hear something like that, they may think differently. But I just think, you know, with now Guyana now having oil in their back pocket as a means of them being able to now come onto the table.
Right.
I mean, I'm not seeing it economically happening for them.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of other things that happened for Guyana, and it really hasn't, you know, how can I say it, benefited the people.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't doubt it, and I'm not too familiar with Guyana. I know, for it to be right next to Venezuela, I was looking at airline tickets there not long ago, and it was very expensive. So I'm thinking, like, you know, for it to be at the top of South America in the midst of all the Caribbean area, why is it so expensive to get there? Then I did watch some videos and whatnot, get it lay of the land, and it looks to be very expensive there for whatever reason. So, yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, even the case may be, just a ticket alone. We recently looking up a ticket to go down there, and the tickets alone that we found was $600 and up. And that's with Caribbean Airlines. Yeah. And there used to be another company named Dynamic Airways that used to fly down there. Yeah. But they filed bankruptcy. Yeah. But the whole situation is it's astronomical because the prices that they're calling. I mean, you would think you like it. I don't know. I would say that's unfair.
Yeah. Yeah.
But long story short, I don't want to hold you up with. I know you got more people to talk to, but I'm just saying. I like your show. It's very informative and it's educational for me, and I appreciate what you're doing because outside of this, there really is nothing else. You see, they got rid of Alex Jones. I mean, he's no more, and I really haven't heard nothing more of him.
Yeah. I wonder. Does he stream from his actual channel, from his website? Via video. I haven't bothered to check, but yeah, he's the biggest in the alternative space. So if he goes, then you got everybody else probably under attack as well. Then you got Facebook removing 800 contrary or conservative YouTube page or questionable YouTube page or Facebook pages according to them. So yeah, the heat is on. So yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. But no, I appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks for the love. I appreciate you.
No problem, bro.
All right, have a good night.
If you can, can you just do a little? If you could, just do a little researching onto Guyana, if you can.
Yep, I'm actually looking right now. I'm looking right now at their GDP per capita, and so it's been going up steadily. So as of now, it's 38.71. So it's it's so that right there, it looks good on paper, but yeah, I'm sure inflation wise, that's not good because when a GDP per capita goes up, inflation probably is double or triple that. So Yeah, it's probably a little bit on a tough side down there. Go ahead.
Well, one real quick insight: $1 American dollar is 200 Guyana dollars.
So the question is, what can you get for $1 Guyana dollar? Or for you say one.
That's like saying
right.
That's like saying what you can get for $1 here in the U.S.
That's a good one. Oh man, I'm gonna type it out now and see what pops up. Let me see.
I'm gonna let you go. All right.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
Answer the call, all right.
All right. Thanks. Have a good night.
You too, brother.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
So $1 Guyanese dollar. So $1 Guyanese dollar is 0.04 of a dollar. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, let me see what the exchange rate is. I actually watched a video about Guyana and how I guess apparently like it's a lot of wildlife, a lot of undeveloped land there, and it was actually some gold miners there, and they were saying that the mosquitoes or whatnot, like carried some type of disease where you get they bite you die, and I'm like, damn, I ain't going to Guyana. So 209, that is very. And so watch this. Let me give you an example of how it's good to say that this currency, which is in the grander picture, is irrelevant to anyone other than citizens there. And I bet you in comparison to the dollar, it's been depreciated massively. So imagine how that makes it hard on the citizens there. And so it looks like USD, so it's been so it's probably pegged to the dollar. So the Guyanese dollar is pegged to the dollar. That's why it's so stable, which is even worse for them because we printing this stuff and they pegging their currency to it, and their standard of living does not go up. So yeah, that's not good. Not good. And I'm showing you guys something that you can't even see. Come to find out. So yeah, I'm talking about a page you guys can't even see. I problem for that, but not for YouTube. All right, so what else we got going on here? Let me get back into the chat. Got a little sidetracked. Oops. Pull up the chat here. And so, what else is going on? So, phone lines are open if anybody want to call in and share what's in your mind. Feel free to do so. It says, what we got here says, Omniball in China, if you go to YouTube, they take you to jail. They can all your stuff on the internet, stuff you are on right now. Yeah, that's the thing. We wouldn't have this type of freedom in China as we have now. I couldn't speak as freely as I do now. And I'm not even really, I don't think my talk is, I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just sharing the alternative side or the other side of the story we don't hear anywhere else. So, but I'm sure that this wouldn't be considered information that would be supported by the powers that be. The social credit score is the mark of the beast. It said everything and every new invention is always the mark of the beast. When the Antichrist doesn't come, you just jump to the next fad. Yeah, man. Spirit King, I like that. It says in China, you do why you ask. In China, you do why you ask. Maybe they don't want you to know the truth about CCP, Chinese Party. Yeah, and the people over there has been so conditioned that they know not to speak out because they don't have the rights to speak out. If they try to, share, they don't have free speech. So if their speech is monitored, so if they even thought about speaking out, they jeopardize their entire family and everything related to their family. So I wouldn't see them doing that. So lots of the same price as to how much the dollar is worth. It's the same price as to how much the dollar is worth. It says, maybe, but you have read about the social credit score. It says 30% of China is cashless. Think how many people that is. Yeah, that's a lot of people, man. It says phone, minutes, next cryptocurrency, because phones are all over the world. All right, so watch this. Since everyone's talking about cryptocurrency, I want to share with you something that I just came across today. And so this is probably going to be my first time actually talking about this, but it was something because I think if you guys have paid attention, listen to me before, I mentioned how some things I'm looking forward to having product wise from the blockchain. And so I came across I didn't cancel my window. Give me 1 second. Shoot, so I can't pull it up on my screen. trying to So let me, I gotta remove this. Give me a second here. I gotta remove this and try to add a window browser, window capture. Nope, that doesn't work. Wrong one. So I can't do it, but there's a certain cryptocurrency that I just came across today for the first time, and it's called Pundi X. Pundi X. So anybody out there, give me a thumbs up if you're familiar with it, and shine a little light on it for me. But yet, just from the little research I've done, Pundi X is it's a couple months old, but yet it's right now trading, or it's not even. It's like 0.001 of a cent. The highest is like 0.007. But they have an actual point of sale system that looks like a cell phone. They have a card, like a card swipe mechanism that's crypto based, and it's actually, man, I wish I could pull it up on the screen, but it's actually they already have thousands of units out in the hands of merchants that basically you can buy, exchange, and do a lot of things with the crypto market directly with your bank account and stuff like that, I believe. But it's in a variety of countries, nowhere near the US yet, but they already have units already out. And then what's even more important, they have a phone. They've taken Android 9.0, they've tweaked it, did some stuff with the code, and made it a blockchain base. And so they actually have a working phone that you can call over the blockchain, which is supposed to be encrypted, and it has a lot of bells and whistles to it. But it's an actual phone that it's the software already up and running, and they're now looking to get carriers and whatnot to carry it. So the point is, it's a operating system for a cell phone that has a lot of the same features as Android. Is based off that, but it's not that. And it comes with some encryption and all types of things that it's going to be very promising. And they're looking to have it out by Q2 of next year. And so when I saw that, I was like, man, that's what I'm looking for right there. So it got me excited. So I'm doing some more homework, whatever, before I look to possibly get involved with that project. But it's exciting because they have products already out there on the market, and the coin is extremely cheap right now. And it could be one of those penny stock type situations. That's just my opinion, no advice here. But anyway, I thought I'd throw that out to you guys because it's actually something that's up and running right now. They got a product in hand. So, that is what it is. So we have another caller. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. Tim from Colorado.
Tim from Colorado. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Hey, you had a good show, and that last caller was great. I just wanted to let say that we got to keep in mind that we're in the casino of the bankers. They made the system. They write the laws. They rule everything. They never lose.
Right.
So I don't fully understand the crypto game, but I can guarantee you there's no way they're going to lose.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
I think what they're doing is these future markets and electronically traded funds, or however you want to put it, they're able to manipulate the price to a degree. And I hear people going, hey, it's great now that the big guys can get in, and I'm the opposite. I want it to be truly to circumvent the powers that be. But if you can't turn it into a fiat currency or it's not accepted, and I don't think they're going to allow that, I don't think it's anything but a speculative instrument.
Yeah, but that also, a part of the whole adoption aspect is to get merchants, to get retail stores familiar with it to where they want to then use it or get them to the point where they want to accept it. So if we can, and I'm saying if they can get, the industry can get to the point where vendors want people to utilize that, and it's because right now most people are hodling, so they're not looking to really spend it because they're expecting higher gains in when the institutional money comes in. So as of now, it's just a matter of getting people to want to spend it. But I believe there will come a time when people will spend it, especially if I can give you 1 or 2 coins and walk and drive away with a car. Because I believe in this next rally, when it gets outrageous, it might be time to get rid of some of those coins. And I'm sure people who got in late will be willing to take a coin or two in the hype in exchange for their vehicle. So you will be able to get some goods for it. And right now you can buy precious metals, and they have sites where you can go online and actually find out. Because I guarantee you, I forgot what website it is, but if you type in a certain website, there's restaurants in your city that accepts cryptocurrency as payment. So you can go eat a meal and then send them some coins, and your meal is paid for. So it's slowly but surely, happening, but it's still in the beginning phases, I believe.
So keep in mind, I agree with you guys. I hope you're right. Now, I want to be wrong, but I don't think the powers that be allow the vendors to actually accept it on a, let's say, a mass basis. They're going to make sure they've got control in their cut, is my concern.
Yeah, and so I like you mentioned, I do believe that the creators and the banks and all those people who run our current system, as I mentioned earlier, I think they're positioning themselves in the foundation parts of things, such as Goldman Sachs coming out with that USD coin. That's a stable coin. And so I believe they're going to be able to get a cut of that, everything that goes on with that coin. Then you have all the custodian stuff and the exchange places. So all those are funded by banks. So they're going to get their cut. And so they may not be able to control directly the coins and stuff people use, but they're going to probably control the vehicles in which they're used through, in my opinion.
Yeah, which brings up a good point. See, I'd be a lot more interested in it if I could stay anonymous. But the only way I know how to do that is to buy it from someone else that's already gone through the know your customer requirements at an exchange.
Yeah, and that's one of the hiccups as of now is getting out of paper into it. You have to go through a lot of those instruments. But even though there's ways of going around that, it takes time, and you can go to local Bitcoins. But I actually read something today about some type of sting where they busted and raided people for doing whatever they do on local Bitcoin. So it's gonna come with some questionable stuff, but I mean it's just how it is for now. But who knows? So I wish you luck with that. Says,
okay. Hey, Mike, keep up the good work and hang in there and be safe.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you calling. Have a good one.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. Yeah, man, that's what it is. It says exchanges get hit by programmers and miners. Yeah, that's what it is, man. But hey, people, it's been over an hour plus, so we are well over time. Appreciate you guys tuning in with me tonight. Appreciate everybody who's joining us right now. I don't even know how many people are even watching. But with that being the case, if you have enjoyed tonight's stream, I didn't cover everything I wanted to cover just because, as you see, when one conversation comes up, we go on for a while with it. But as always, it's been fun, man. I enjoy hanging out with you guys. Give your boy a thumbs up, please. Share this video if you liked it. And more importantly, come back tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m., same time. Invite a friend. How about that? Let's make it a date tomorrow. Bring a friend with you. Tell a friend. Tell them to come join us and just, get this, get a chance to hang out in the community, man. I think you guys have done a good job of sharing your insight because we, as you can see from the chat, everyone's learning from each other here. I see Mr. John Moore over here, spreading some crypto love over here. Appreciate you for watching, John. And so other than that, everybody, it's been great, man. Looking forward to having you guys back on. I'll have another guest next Monday. I'm not going to tell you who's coming to join us Monday, but it's going to be a Monday afternoon interview. And so I'm going to keep it as a surprise, but just let me tell you guys, it's a privilege. I'm not going to oversell it because I guess, it's an honor for me to have him on my show. But next Monday, I got a gentleman who's willing to come do a live stream with us. And he's a guy you definitely gonna want to call in and ask questions because he's a boss. Yeah, I must admit he's a boss. So anyway, but next Monday I got a guest coming on RTD Live Talk in the afternoon. And he's a guy that you're going to talk to, man. So make sure you guys stay plugged in. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up. And I got my information on top, the Patreon. If you guys want to be a supporter on the next level, I'd appreciate it. And then I got my Bitcoin address up there. And if you guys do Litecoin or any other coin, check your boy out in the description. I have I just put Dash up there for a change. Do something different. All for people who want to exchange or donate some Dash to your boy. I appreciate that. But other than that, everybody, it's been fun. Enjoy your evening. And I would definitely, look forward to meeting you guys tomorrow. Peace.